Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Shannon, why are you so little?
I don't know.
Hi, happy Monday.
Hi. Happy Monday. I hope you had a good weekend.
It was good. I'm tired, but it was good. I'm more tired. Like Mondays are my recovery days from workouts as well. So it's like today is my official weekend.
Yeah, I
Does
asked
it
him
make
because
sense?
I saw that he ran 6 miles. I'm like, wow, that's way more motivation than I ever have to
Yeah,
run.
with
That's
my
impressive.
coach as well, which was
Oh,
fun because he said, "You set the pace," and then he just run. So I had to follow him. So he was setting the pace. Technically, I was setting the pace, but we're going faster than I should have. And then today I'm feeling it. But that's the whole point. I've got a half marathon in less than a month, fifth
oh,
of March,
geez,
and I didn't
geez.
realize. I thought it was the end of March. So personally, psychologically, mentally, physically, I was preparing for the end of March. And today I checked the schedule and it's the 5th of March. So I was like, oh, God. But it's fine.
Well,
It's what we need to do,
it's
setting
is it the full
goals.
marathon or is it half marathon? I'm
No,
sorry, did you say
it's a
full?
half
It's
marathon.
half. Okay,
I'm not
okay.
crazy. I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I always feel like the people who run the full marathons are crazy. My sister does the half marathons, so I'm familiar with some of the training involved with that. It's not an easy feat by any stretch of the definition, right?
Yes, it's not. Bruce Lane, you're the only one here. Good morning to you, sir. I hope you're well. Um, yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's all about setting goals, and I haven't done a half marathon or any decent distance in since 2012. So that's like 10
Okay.
years.
Okay.
I might as well do it now in my old age
Yeah.
of 44, which I was checking the age groups, and I am geriatric.
I mean, that's the thing that sucks. You don't feel old. Your body reminds you you're old constantly, but you don't feel
every
old. So I definitely
every
understand.
morning, you
Right.
wake up and you're
Yep.
like, why does this hurt? Did I injure myself,
Yeah.
or is it just old age?
Yeah.
Why is my shoulder in pain? What have I done?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
Yeah. You sleep wrong, and it ruins your week. You
yes,
can't. You can't turn. You can't change lanes. It's not fun.
but it's fine. We'll survive it. We'll persevere. Pirolacom, there are 9 viewers, I think. Yeah, we have a few people here. Thank
It's
you,
exciting.
Pirola.
It's exciting.
Yeah, thank you everyone. It's a Monday morning, so we don't really expect many people to be joining us. It's a weird stream today because we usually stream on Tuesdays, but
But because today is the end of the hackathon, that's
it
why we thought
is.
we would stream today. So,
Yeah, we also want to keep you on your toes. You know,
right.
don't settle. We want
Right.
you to be always on your toes, always checking out. And by the way, if you haven't done it yet, scan the QR code on your screen to get your
See, oh,
verifiable
no, I
credential.
did it wrong today. It's this. No, it's this one.
Oh, see, I didn't even lift my fingers.
It's this
Let's
one.
can't do that
Scan
one.
that one.
See,
Scan
I
that
didn't even
one.
have to think about it. Straight.
Scan
There.
that one.
Somewhere there. Yes. Scott.
What would be
What?
funny
What?
is if I had a corresponding like finger come through at the same time. How do they do that on the 425 show? We cannot ever tell you, right?
You know what we haven't done yet? We haven't used the Channel 9 studio to do a live together show. We were
Oh,
hoping to do that with JP back when he was one of us,
yeah.
and then he left. And
What the
when
hell?
he came here for, we had a get together just before he left. So
Right.
I met him for the first time, and then he said, "I'm leaving." But maybe that's why he left. Maybe he met me in real life. And he was like, "Screw that." Anyway, he was here. Like maybe we should get Channel 9 and book some time, but they had a lot of events at the time, and we couldn't
Oh.
get in. So
No, never
when
say
you
never.
come,
Maybe. Yeah,
we'll plan.
maybe. Yeah, yeah. And it's one of those things, I don't know. It's hard to predict when this will get back to normal, but it feels different this year. I think each year is a little different. And if it's
Yeah.
moderate improvement, I'm okay with that, right? Iterative, moderate improvement.
Yes. Yes,
So,
please. Yes, bring the improvements. I think
yeah.
Pirola is from Germany. Hi to Germany. How are you guys? Is it snowy over there? Is it cold? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's
It
Germany. You would expect to
probably,
be cold,
probably,
right?
yeah, you would expect to be. They definitely have a winter over there.
They do.
Um, so I don't know if they have a winter like Chicago does. Like we're supposed to get 16 inches, and I'm like, what? No, no, send it somewhere else.
And you're going back to 16 inches of snow from
I
Arizona? That
know.
would be
Eventually,
fun.
yeah, eventually, yeah. So we're here for another probably week and a half or so, and then we head back. So I'm hopeful that either the snow is done or whatever comes left is just kind of a light dusting. So
Yes. As with time zones, my friends, please provide context. So -1 in Fahrenheit, it's not the same as -1 in Celsius. Although it does make sense because it's -1, so it's supposed to be cold as hell. -1 in Fahrenheit is something like -15 in Celsius, which is
Yeah.
insanely cold. I've experienced
Yeah.
it for the first time in Chicago, and trust me, you don't want to be there. I still got the wounds to prove it.
Yeah, I told you that was like the worst time to come visit. And I didn't pick Chicago because of the weather. I picked Chicago for pretty much everything else but the weather.
It's
So,
stunning, by the way. If you haven't been to Chicago, I would highly recommend it. Just don't go in the middle of the winter because
yeah, come in like spring, summer, or fall.
yeah. So Pirola says it's -1. It's a bit snowy. Snow is good. We might get snow tomorrow, although it
What?
says sleet in Seattle.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, you don't really, you get like one snow a year, don't you? Or like maybe
Yeah.
two
Yeah,
snow.
like you get one sunny day in Scotland. That's the summer. Here you get one snowy day, and it's the
And that's the
winter.
winter.
That's the winter. Yeah. Roberta Bull says Indianapolis is cold. I know it's cold. Utah is super cold as well. 30. What is 30? Bro, please give us context. Like random numbers, I can't translate them. 31.
Yeah, is it 30 Celsius? Because that actually be warmer. Or is it
No,
30
30
Fahrenheit?
Celsius is the middle of the summer.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah,
That's
I-
warm.
I once, so at Microsoft, I worked with a couple of folks who were global, and they asked me questions. What's Chicago like in the summer? And I said 85 and muggy, and their jaws dropped, thinking like, how is she alive? How is she not dead? And I paused, and I was like, wait a minute, that's actually Fahrenheit. That's
Yeah.
not Celsius. And so we had to do the quick translation, and they were like, that's still really hot. But we were like, what the hell? She's like,
Oh, he gave us-
different person.
Pirola gave us Fahrenheit and Celsius. Thank you for
Okay.
thinking of all of us, thinking in a global context. You know what? In Fahrenheit, I don't translate every temperature, but I know like 70 is good. 65 is okay in the house, for example. Then 40 is cold, 30 could snow, and 80 is hot. Right. So
Yeah.
these are like the average temperature. And then anything below 30 is cold. Doesn't really matter if it's 30 or 20 or 10. Although it does matter if it's -1. Trust me.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, temperatures are fun and
Yeah.
time zones are fun. I was reading the news this morning and I saw an interesting article on Tech Community. Apparently, we now have authenticator support in B2C. Have you seen this?
I saw that. That was an email that got circulated, wasn't it, over the weekend, or was it late last week? I didn't have a chance to read it though.
Yes, I can share the screen so everybody can actually
Do
see
that.
it.
Yep.
Yes, do that. If I find it
Because
first,
I
there
feel
you
like
go.
that's kind of a cool reality, right?
It
Like that's
is.
an interesting.
Because
feature.
because up until this one, if you wanted to integrate two-factor authentication with external apps, you had to go with something like Twilio, which we've done in the past. But now that Authenticator is fully supported, it's awesome. And then I will add the URL, and let me share my screen as well, so everybody can see what I'm saying. Doop. There you go. So this is, and hopefully, if I am translating the article correctly.
Do you want to
doesn't?
make it a little bit bigger, my friend?
Yeah. Is
There
that
you
big
go.
enough?
Yeah, I think so.
There you go. So you do have B2C user flows will now be able to integrate with Authenticator. We should
So
probably
cool.
do a stream on that and see how it works, because I'll be super keen to get it set up. And that should also remove the extra charges for SMS,
Yep.
which means two-factor authentication on the free without really needing to use an email to do that.
Which is super cool.
It is super cool. I think that's exciting. Very exciting. You can still use Twilio if you want to, through custom or built-in policies, but it is very interesting. I actually built a banking app with Twilio, which was interesting for escalation of privilege. So you sign into your bank through B2C, and then if you need to set up an online payment, which you usually do, right? You have to set up a payment. My bank, my actual bank, actually forces me to re-authenticate to make sure that somebody hasn't really grabbed the phone off my hands and then trying to set up a payment. So it says, well, you need to re-authenticate. So I thought, I can do that with Twilio. Now we might be
Yeah.
able to do it with two-factor authentication. So halfway through the
Nice.
authentication process, you can, do a one-time password and send it out. But yeah, that's probably one of the most exciting news out there for
Yeah.
the past week. And also the hackathon.
Yeah,
want to
the
give us an update
hackathon.
on the hackathon?
Sure. So we've got our hackathon. It's in the middle
Mm-hmm.
of kind of the last submissions. We've got a
Yes.
handful of them so far, and it's going to run up until 5 p.m. Pacific. So right
Yes.
now it is
You got 9 more hours, I
8:13.
think.
Yeah, you've got
Yeah.
9 more hours, and I suspect we'll see quite a bit of submissions show up over the course of the day. So this is exactly the final stretch.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to sprint to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, nine hours are plenty of time to build a whole app. I've done it for university projects, and if I can do it, then you can do it too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like even if you are afraid you don't have the coolest thing, right? Maybe you
Still
just stood up the
submit.
sample app. You
Yeah.
should still submit it because you could get a Creedly badge, which those are exciting, and then
Yes.
you get a chance to share that with the broader community, and everybody then asks you, how did you get that? Was it I think it's the identity contributor, or is it Azure Active
It's
Directory contributor?
the cloud contributor or something like that.
Yeah, something like
It's a
that.
limited edition badge. Not everybody gets it, right? So we partner with our community teams, and we partner with Cridley to get you this badge. So trust me, you'll have to jump through very many hoops to get it otherwise. So we want you to get it, even if your project is not selected as a final winner. You still get it for a submitted project.
Yeah.
Everybody gets it. So do it.
Yeah.
You know you want it.
So and then obviously there are prizes up for grabs as well. So for the folks that are a
Yes.
little bit more savvy on the developer front that are coming up with really
True,
interesting
true.
use cases,
Yes.
we do have some cool swag. So
Yes.
we've got
Prize
cash
money.
prizes. Yep.
Yeah.
We've got, an hour with the engineering teams. They will be so ecstatic to talk to you if they like your project the best. And then we've got, Starbucks vouchers, discounted exam vouchers. If you're internal to Microsoft, there's some 425 show swag that'll be coming your way. So,
Yeah. Exactly. Defines happy Monday to you, sir. I hope you're doing well, or ma'am. I don't know. See, it's very hard to tell if it's a. To tell the gender. But Matthias says, thanks everyone for reporting issues and helping us out, because that was the goal of the hackathon, to actually see real use cases and identify scenarios where we might have bugs and what have you. And Matthias says that the engineering team is already working on some of the things that were reported, which is great.
yeah.
Roberta Bull says, ain't no minute like the last minute, which is true. Put the pressure on.
Yep. I always feel like that's when all of the good stuff came about from my college days. I had a paper due
Yes.
at like 9 a.m. and oftentimes I'd be up until like 3 or 4 writing it. So it
Oh,
happens.
those glorious university days.
Yeah,
College
right.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you not
Those were
miss last minute submissions?
Yeah, and then you literally like, I don't know, 8:59 you submit it because you're
Yeah.
rereading it. Does it make sense when I was half awake, fueled by coffee? Should I reread this? Let's reread it. Yeah. So,
See, I screwed up with defines. He says, not a sir. So, see, I'm not inclusive enough. I need to do more to be more inclusive to our audience. Thank you, Defines, for keeping me straight. Matthias says, procrastination is awesome. Nothing to do today, and always something to do tomorrow, I guess.
yep, yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good almost quotable quote for like a day calendar.
Yes, Matthias, I think you're onto something. There's a future here for you, my friend.
If this program management thing doesn't fit the bill, you can always write those day calendars, right?
Eventually, yeah. Or birthday cards.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like there's a future. Maybe that's what he winds up doing when he retires.
No happy birthday today, tomorrow, because procrastination. Why not? Celebrate your birthday whenever you want. Oh man, I know, right? So last week we hit some snags with our
We did.
DID, right?
But we
We
got it
screwed
up
up a
and we
little
got
bit.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, we
so we
got it.
got it up and we got it functional. So to kind of recap, we used Azure Resource Mover. We moved everything from one subscription to another subscription because we had to, right? There's some internal stuff that we're trying to stay ahead of so that the folks that are handling all of our billing, because we still have to handle that from a cost center perspective, right? They wanted us to switch everything from one subscription to another. So we did
Yes.
that. But then what happened was the Verifiable Credential Service didn't work. So we had to delete the credentials and re-add them. And then I tried to create a video, and because I'm not on my main machine, I recorded the wrong screen. So I thought we didn't want to watch, Discord for 5 minutes. We probably wanted to watch it actually in real time. But then the one thing is, if we do this, Christos, that QR code becomes invalid, because what happens when you delete everything from the Azure Active Directory instance? It removes your DID number. And that DID number is the piece that you need in order to both issue and verify a credential. So,
Well, this QR code actually points to our website, so nothing to worry about here.
Well, and see
So-
that's we probably should have actually had that
Tested it?
Yeah. Well, or I should have. I assumed it was going to the site.
So this one just takes you to the site. It doesn't preload anything. It doesn't load a QR code. Initially, we wanted to do that, right? We wanted to actually provide you with a QR code that you would scan to get your VC directly. But then again, it made no sense, because you still need to pass your first name and last name. This is the information we're collecting for our VCs. If you're building your own VCs, you can add any attributes you want to collect at the time of the issuance. As long as you have defined that in your files, then you can map any values to whatever, like age, or maybe date of birth, or something else that makes sense to your system. So this one just points to the URL. So if you scan it, it will just load our website, the 45show.com website, which we hijacked the URL to make it
our DID app.
Yeah, make it our DID app. I don't know how long this domain will live there. Also, we had to go through some interesting hoops to get hold of our DNS settings, because at Microsoft you can't willy-nilly just go and spin up any website.
It's true. It's true.
In fact, there's a website to report all websites at Microsoft. So if you have any website out there that interacts with users, you need to report it and categorize it and catalog it, because people over the years have spun up different websites that are part of Microsoft, but Microsoft doesn't know about them, and they had this massive issue of trying to herd everything. So we probably need to do that, but I don't know how much longer that site will be live. On a side note, we do have a 45show.dev, which is our actual website for the 45 show and everything we do. So go and check that out. And GitHub and blogs and what have you.
Matthias says you can host it on his Microsoft.com domain with a 1 for the I.
You own that? You must get that. I'm going to report it. I'm going to send a cease and desist from marketing. Well, I'm not marketing anymore. You know, at Microsoft we can do that. Like if you have something that infringes on the name or the copyright, we can come and get it. Like we got Visual Studio for Mac because somebody spun it up on Twitter and they had an account, and we went and took it because we wanted to use it. Sorry, please don't use official brand names for Microsoft for your domains. Report it, and now I'm gonna get some.
You also can't use it in things like resource declarations. So if you titled something Windows Server in Azure, I don't think it'll let you build it, right? It has to be a unique thing to the server. It can't be like a branded term. So if you ever spin something up in Azure and you name it what it's called, there's a chance it might not actually provision. You might get an error message stating that you have to pick a different name. So we even go so far as to do that.
Yes, I was reading yesterday an interesting story about somebody that spun up a website called Wamazon, right? And it was using the Amazon's API to actually do searches on the Amazon product catalog.
Oh my gosh!
And then you could, it would add an affiliate tag, and then when you said I want to go and buy this, it would actually add the affiliate tag and make money. The problem was that Google liked it more than the official Amazon website. So when people were searching for stuff, it would load that up as the first choice in Google search. And he was getting so much money and he was getting so much traction that Amazon sent a cease and desist. And now they changed the rules, so you can't have anything in your domain name that
has Amazon.
They use the Amazon name because of that. So it
makes sense.
Change of rules, yeah.
It makes sense. This is why we can't have nice things, right, Christos? It's somebody always has to ruin it somewhere. It's just human nature,
Microsoft or Azure?
Azure. We should start a domain, call it Azure. I think all we need to do is pick a different theme. Maybe it's purple instead of like white or dark, or you know what I mean? That works.
Maybe we can remove the U and make it Azure You know,
There you
the
go.
funky thing that you remove all the vowels and you just leave the consonants in there, and then you make a name. It could be our Azure without all the. There you go.
Vowels. It's all the vowels. But yeah, so going back to the little bit that we did
Sorry.
last
Yes.
week, we did use
Yes.
Azure Resource Mover. I enlightened Christos that there was a service that did this. He didn't even realize it.
I am still
And
mind blown by this service and also the efficiency of the service. Like it moved
yeah,
everything other than the service principal permissions on the storage account. Correct?
yeah. It was the actual. Yeah, it was all of the permissions on the storage account. That was the only thing we had to fix after the fact, plus the verifiable credential service.
Yeah,
But
because
I
it's
mean,
still in preview, right? So I think preview services are not included into the mover.
I think so. And also Azure Active Directory is a little funky in general because it kind of sits like one level up above. So maybe that's something you just have to factor in going forward if you ever have to delete the credentials and redo them inside of your Azure Active Directory verifiable credentials environment. So
Yes. Do you wanna take over your screen and show us
sure,
how it's
yeah.
done?
So I was gonna actually put this into a video, like I said, but in all honesty, I recorded the wrong screen because I am not home and I am using the machine that is normally not my main machine. So
But you have a second monitor. I am
I
impressed that
do have a second
you're
monitor. Yeah,
so
so
committed.
I always have like an extra monitor in the event I need it, and then I definitely needed it because of all of the life stuff that's going on in my world right now. Which the short story is, I'm finalizing an adoption, so that's why I'm not home, and I won't be home till probably mid-February. So, but anyway, so obviously this is the service, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are the credentials.
Zoom in a little bit, and
Okay.
yeah, I think we're making it a custom here to buy domains while we're streaming. We already bought Christos Limited, which we're gonna
We did.
use in a subsequent stream. Thank you everyone for pushing me to do that.
Yep.
And then Tall Dark and Coding said he just registered, or she just registered. They just registered. I don't know how to pronounce people.
You could say they. I think that
They.
works. That's the most inclusive way of not worrying about misgendering somebody.
There
right?
you go. So they just registered the microamaflix.com.
Yeah.
Am I missing something? Microflix? It's like Netflix,
Sure.
AMA
Sure.
in the middle as well. What are you going to use the website for? Let us know.
Okay,
it's
so
just
these
startup
are the
idea.
credentials that we have, and that
Yes.
shows up right now on our site. And these are the organizational settings. So this is the
Yes.
DID number,
Yep.
the key vault, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do, and this will take some time. So what we'll do is when I get this back up and functional, we'll update our app and we'll wait for everything to sort of relinquish itself in our global infrastructure handling this.
Yes.
So I will delete all credentials
Do
and I
it.
will
Do it.
opt out.
And we will. Oh, that's what he said. Microsoft, Amazon, and Netflix all in one go, like FANG, but with a few more letters. That's very clever. And now you can set it up for people that want to do interviews with all these companies and explain how they should do it and succeed.
So yeah, so now we're back at the beginning.
Oh,
right?
yes. No.
So
if you scan this one now, if you scan our QR code on the side, it will fail because it will not find any credentials whatsoever.
which is perfectly fine. So I think what we'll wind up doing here is we'll reset this up and we'll wait about 10ish minutes and we'll update the app to point to the new DID
Yes.
number.
That's a very good point because we do have an app, and then let me switch to my screen so people can see what we're doing. So because we deleted that DID service, it means that our verifier authority and the issuer authority will change. Our DID ION will change. But this is the only change that we will have to do. Once that's changed, because we're not adding or removing anything from our credential files, then we will only have to push these changes up.
Because if you remember, we re-permissioned the storage account, we checked the
Yes.
key vault policies, and we tried to switch the credential to have it point to the new subscription because we moved everything and it wouldn't save. So
Yes.
not a big deal. We can work around it. It just takes some time to have all of this purge from the Microsoft servers, right? Because it's globally distributed. It takes a little bit of time to get that information out of there. So so I don't know if you want me to set everything back up. You want to flip back to me real quick, Christos?
Give me a second because .NET, git pull, because the last two changes I did directly on GitHub. Please don't do that. I was being silly, but
I think we were concerned we did something wrong, and then I was the
Yes.
one that was like, "Oh gosh, the DID changed, so we have to update that." Whoops. Going through things bit by bit, you're like, "What did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss?"
So this now
That was
reflects
what
what it used to be, and then when the new stuff comes, when Sana has issued the new things, we will update it here. So Shannon,
Yep.
you can take over again.
Okay, perfect.
And let me hide mine. There you go.
Okay, so let's do 425 show. Oops. The domain is HTTPS.
And for people that are joining for the first time or they have no idea what we're doing with verifiable credentials, we do have a whole series on YouTube that shows you how to get started with decentralized identity, how to set up your verifiable credentials, and how to actually go and build an application from scratch. I will link to that playlist. And if you are thinking about participating at the hackathon, you got 8.5 hours left. Plenty of time to go through that. It took us an hour to go through the whole setup. Plenty of hours
Yeah,
for you to
and
do
even
it.
if you don't have something exciting to show, just going through the motions gets you a
Exactly.
Creedly badge. So submit something so that you can get a cool Creedly badge, and people can ask you on LinkedIn, what did you do to get that? And you can say,
Exactly.
oh, I created a verifiable credentials environment, and then that sounds cool. It spreads awareness.
Exactly.
So this is a subscription we had to move from, and we had to move to the Azure subscription. So everything's in this subscription now. And we want to go down here to the DID 425 show. So now we've selected that key vault.
Yep.
We'll save and create a credential. So this takes a little bit of time, not an insane amount. This is actually faster than spinning up a VM. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? So
I know.
But before we go the route of doing this, I'm actually going to go back into the service. I'm going to go to the organizational settings.
Okay.
And I'm going to get you, hang on.
The DID stuff?
Oh, no. I think I have to create the credential first. That's right.
Oh, okay.
I think. Let's see, hang on.
Hang on.
Yeah, it doesn't
By the
show up
way,
here.
VMs take a little bit of time to issue, but if you are like me, like an old person, then I went through the experience of spinning up VMs, not spinning up, requesting VMs on services, on hosting services. And that takes months.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes waiting for a VM is
and
nothing.
it can be fully configured too, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's kind of cool as well. So Christos, I actually just passed you the DID number. I did in private chat. So you can
in private chat. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, I didn't
But that's not private information for people that are out there. It is not private information. You can is that it? Is that just that long?
That it's just that long number, and then I need to verify the domain. So let me grab this JSON
file. So while you do
file.
this, let me show people how to do the change. Under issuer authority, I will paste the non-secret value. Are you sure this is significantly smaller than the other ones? Are we missing something?
Did you grab the whole thing?
Oh, you know what? I wonder if it was truncated because of the private message.
It's possible.
Can you put it in the in Teams?
Yeah. Hang on. I gotta launch Teams. I rebooted my computer before the stream.
Oh
so
no! Like that, now everything just crashes.
I know. Yeah, exactly. It might. So fingers crossed it doesn't.
Send it through Signal. I don't know. End-to-end encryption.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, be careful when you copy these values because you miss letters like that, and just to show you what I mean. Look at that.
Correct.
This is the new DID. This is the old DID. Like I'm missing a lot.
So I'm in the process of. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. It's coming to you in Teams in 3, 2, 1.
1.
You've got it.
Oh yes.
Much longer,
yes,
right?
Much longer. That makes more sense.
Yeah, sorry
about that. Is it sad that I can identify a valid DID just from looking at it?
I think that means we've been doing this for the month and doing this for too long, right? We'll have to figure something out.
It's perfect. It's the right length. Ta-da!
And then what I'm going to do too is I'm going to grab the domain verifier because remember you've got to put that info.
We do?
Yeah, remember you have to expose it.
Yes, we do. You're absolutely right. Thank you for reminding me that because that changes as well. Yes.
Yeah. So I can walk somebody through that again.
Yes.
Okay.
So in our sample app, we do have an API endpoint that is publicly exposed, and it actually reads and exposes this file called DID configuration.
So yeah, so then I'm going to send you that file as well, Christos, via Teams.
Via Teams. No truncation happening there. Can you show people where you got it from? Sorry, I'm
Oh yeah,
sharing my
that's what I was
screen,
going to do
so-
one more time here. So I'm sending
Yeah.
you the JSON file in
Cool.
Teams, and we can.
So this is your file. This is your screen
Oh
now
man,
showing. If you
is it
want to
not letting
explain
me?
people how to get it.
I don't think it's going to let me upload this because I've sent it to you a couple times. So let me see if I can
Well, are
rewrite.
you
I'll
sending
try
a
one more.
JSON file? Just open the
I
JSON and put the
am.
raw content.
Oh, do you want me to do that? Would you rather
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Raw content just works.
And then I guess you could just update that file. So hang on a second.
It's just strings. Yeah. Yeah, because uploading files sometimes they go through virus check,
Yeah. And
and
then how do
because it
you?
looks like code,
Yep. And then how do you?
format
It's
it.
appearance.
I check it. Don't
All
worry
right.
about the appearance. We'll fix it.
So hang on. So yeah. So how do I? What do I wind up doing? It's view.
Oh, it's select all and then format. Have you selected it? It's under
I
edit.
have
Edit.
under edit. Okay. Format.
Format.
Really? I don't see format.
Right click on it.
Format selection.
There you go.
Okay, cool. So let's go back to the portal. Okay, so down here, we need to verify the domain.
Yes.
Because if you run the sample app, you're going to get this website might be risky.
Correct. Inside
Until
the
you
authenticator.
verify it. Correct. Until you verify it, you will always have that show up. And we wanted to do the verification so that folks could feel like, this is a trusted app. You'll actually see the workflow. There's like a locking mechanism that shows up that shows it's 100% secure because we used an SSL certificate on the domain. So,
It's
but
like
once you
DNS
click on,
verification, right? When you add the
correct,
TXT record or an A name or a
correct.
C name, sorry. A
Correct,
record
and
or
then we
C
used
name.
Cloudflare, so we were able to create the cert inside of Cloudflare as well. So that was one of the
Yes.
reasons why we wanted to grab that domain and put it in Cloudflare because it was a little less work that we had to do on our end. So we were able to get it to be approved. So thank you, the folks at Microsoft who were involved in that.
Teamwork.
Yeah, it works. So the idea here too is I don't know, should I make this a little bit bigger? I'll make it a little bit bigger for purposes of just walking this through. So you can learn more about verifying a domain, but when somebody goes through and issues a credential, you'd probably want them to see verified versus not verified. Now,
Yes.
if you run the sample, it'll say not verified. If you run something that's custom and you have an SSL cert, it will show up as verified. And that's what I think most folks would want if they're building this for production.
Yep.
So you can copy this file, right? Or you can download the file and then you've got to host it here. So this is up on our site. We just need to change the DID number, I believe is all we have to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that URL needs to be publicly exposed, and when it's hit, it needs to load that JSON file. More or less.
And then so this is the actual JSON that I downloaded. I formatted it. It's that long DID number. It is super long. I won't even go all the way to the end of it. But that's what we need to expose in order to have this be an end-to-end trusted scenario.
Yeah.
And that ensures that there's an SSL cert and that it's 100% verified related to all the publicly accessible endpoints in the solution. So that's how you verify your domain, and that's what most customers would want to do once this reaches production. If you're just standing this up for the purpose of getting familiar with the technology, believe me, it's fine to have it be not verified, right? It's a little bit cumbersome to sort of wrap your head around initially. So don't feel bad if all you've done is the sample app, right? We'll be ecstatic that you've done the sample app because you've walked through an end-to-end scenario where you'll be able to take that and apply it towards any scenario that might be being built at your company, right?
Exactly. So also Matthias says we are working with long form DID values. So everything before the colon, the rest is a base 64 encoded initial state. I think that's also going to be a unique value, if I remember correctly, Matthias. Please correct me. So you'll be able to use that for things in your application like unique identifiers. And Matthias says, that the DID configuration JSON that we're exposing right now needs to be behind SSL. So you need to have TLS, and it cannot be a redirect. So it needs to be directly accessible, no redirects.
Yeah, because I think that was a big thing when we were making this be an end-to-end scenario.
Yep. Did you give me the values so we can add them to the app?
Let's see. Hang on. Yes. let's do this. I will copy this and I'll put this into Teams.
Yes, please.
And
Just to
then,
avoid truncation. Pam, pam, pam.
it's gonna
All the
format it real
excitement.
funky like it's gonna format it funky like in
You know, you can
Teams.
do, it's not tilde, it's like a little accent. If you do 3 actions of that, it will allow you to paste code into Teams. Oh my God, this is
just like Slack.
just like Slack. Exactly that.
It didn't let me do the tilt. I did the. Sorry about that. I think you're gonna have to just maybe grab it. I didn't know they did it. I'm familiar with this. I guess I could do this.
It's been available for a while. Also,
what the heck is wrong with me? I didn't
my
know
very
that.
good friend Brady Gaster, Brady, if you're listening, big shout out, did create an extension for VS Code that would allow you to run code directly inside Teams.
Nice. That's
Yes,
really
so
cool.
if you like console.writeline hello world, it will run it. Hey, Mr. Extremely, yeah, it's backticks. Thank you. Thanks so much. It's backticks.
Backticks.
Backticks at the very top of
Got
my
it.
keyboard.
Okay, so that's
then
what I
you
did, but it
backticks and
did it
tab.
didn't. Maybe I need like a space after the backticks because I didn't put a space
I think
in.
it's a tab. You need to do tab. Let me see.
Tab. Okay,
Tab, tab, tab. Space.
it's space. Okay, so it is a space. All right, let me try that.
Yes. Tab, tab, backtick, 3 backticks and then space.
Ah, okay.
See? That's awesome, right?
Ooh.
Any code. And that's code
Yeah,
formatting.
and that works better. You can see that a little bit better
Yes.
too, because it was pasting in a weird red funkiness, and I'm like, what is going on? It's one of those
He was
things.
doing JSON validation in text. So we added that.
Right.
And now we
Okay,
can
so
just
now
do,
let's go. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to see if enough time has passed. We've definitely been talking enough time that I think we can at least try it.
and I'm committing. Can people see my screen? They can't see my screen.
No,
so
they
let me
cannot see your
switch to
screen.
my
Do you want to show your screen and then I'll try and create the credential here?
I will. Let's do it quickly. So I'm doing a git add. We added the changes to our file. I don't know why the layout is changed. I haven't changed the layout, but I could do a diff, but I don't really care about that because I know I haven't tested. And then updated the
Famous
ID
last words.
settings.
Narrator. Famous last words.
What's the worst that can happen, right? And git push. And then that will push our code to production. And then if we switch to my GitHub, we should see the automated.
Oh yeah, we should show the GitHub action because that is a
Yeah.
kind of a cool thing. So if you were to take this and you were to fork it or clone it, you'll get the GitHub action, which is really cool. And I've
Deploying
played
to our
around-
application, obviously.
Yeah, you have to change it for your environment, but
Please
it's also
do so.
helpful. It's
Yeah.
also helpful to see it, right? Because I didn't understand anything about GitHub actions until recently.
Repositories, and then you see these at the top. And then if we go into actions, you'll see that it already kicked off the automatic deployment,
Yep.
which is stunning. I love it. Right. While this one's running, Sam, do you want to switch to your stuff?
Yeah, let's go through and I will. So I'm going to just do the blog reader to start because I can get all these mapped pretty quickly. So you're
Look
gonna
what I'm
flip
learning
back.
today. Thank you, Mr. Eximli. Mr. Eximli says, if you do 3 backticks and then specify the language next to it without a space, then Shift Enter, and then the code, and then also 3 backticks, it should highlight for the language, so you can differentiate between JavaScript and .NET.
Man, I tell you what, that's cool. I didn't know that Teams had that functionality. We're learning
I
all
would
sorts of new things today.
I would show it if I was in a million NDA conversations, and I don't want to show the titles of the chat. But yeah, try it, friends, and see what how that works. Thank you, Mr. Extremely. And then Timmy says, "Help! Is there a link to the repository somewhere?" Absolutely, there is.
Oh yeah,
Let me
grab
just
it.
Grab it.
Because this has actually been helpful for me. So I often joke that, I've done a lot more deving in my time. I straight infrastructure background, but I've done a lot more deving now that everything's turned software defined. And taking a look at this code and kind of figuring it out and kind of taking it apart. And it helped me out kind of understanding a little bit more about how .NET functions.
Indeed, but we also have a ton of samples for.
We do. Do you want to plug the samples?
I am trying to find them now. I thought I had them. We have the docs, we don't have the samples. So let me add it here. DID samples. And the code has just deployed. And then we do HTTPS 425.show VC sample. Save that and display it. And then for the official samples, please visit 425.show/VC sample. You'll find nodes,
It doesn't
.NET,
show up
Python.
on my view. I don't know if it shows up for everybody else. I don't see it. Do you see it?
I do.
Oh, okay. All right.
On all
Maybe
three places. So
maybe it's one of those things where I do need to reboot my computer again. I rebooted it before the show, and then I was having all kinds of problems, and I'm like, fine, I will reboot it twice. Anyway. All right. You want to flip back to me real quick, Christos?
I am
And then I'll
flipping
kind
back
of
to
walk
you.
through.
Yeah, sorry, Timmy, you can't paste URLs. But hit us up on Discord. If you're not on Discord, let me do that while Shannon is doing her magic.
Okay, so I will create a credential. I'm going to call this blog reader. I'm going to tie it to the new subscription, which is Azure subscription 1.
Yep.
I need to grab the display file. And now remember, this shows up in the storage account.
Yeah. Do you get error messages here if the permissions are not correct, or will you only see it when you run the app?
Yeah, only when you run the app. That's when you get the error message.
Okay.
So the blog reader display, we'll select that. So that's now tying itself to that specific blob storage account. And let's go to the rules file, which will be the next JSON.
Mm-hmm.
Now here comes the big reveal. Will it let me create it? Enough time has passed. Let's see. Come on, man, it's live.
Holding my my breath.
I mean, oh yeah. So I think we're still kind of in that spot where it still has to relinquish itself. But that's how you would essentially remove it from your environment and re-add it. And after a while, this red text up top goes away. Unfortunately, there's been enough variety that I thought we might be able to do this live. We still have 15 minutes, so we could always try it again here in about 5 to 10 minutes and see if it lets me save it.
Can you post a link to the chat? Which link? Which link? Tall Dark Encoding. Which link would you like to see?
Oh, he's looking for, I think, the sample apps.
Oh, the sample apps? Yes, absolutely. We can do that. It's here. And I can put in the sample 425.show VC sample.
Yeah, and it's all kinds of samples, right? There's .NET, there's Java, there's Node.
Thank you, Bruce Lane. Bruce jumped into the conversation. Thank you. So fun facts while we're waiting for this. Over the weekend, I was building the Apollo 11 model for my daughter because she has a science experiment or science project for school. Sorry, by saying I was building it, we were building it. She was helping with the model. And I haven't done models in like 20 years. So I really miss the, gluing these small bits and, getting...
Did you have to get like the magnifying glasses? Like there are those people who have like these like glasses they put up.
Oh, but I could actually feel that my age was getting to the point that I might need to get some glasses because there were some really little bits for the lunar module I had to actually glue, and they were like I had to keep them at a distance like old people do because I'm old now. I was like, God damn, man, I'm getting old. And then we started reading about the SLS, which is the new space launch system, which will take us to the moon and beyond, which is super exciting. Apparently, it will be going as fast as 25,000 miles per hour, which takes the trip to the moon will be done in less than 10 minutes.
I mean,
what?
Yeah, which is crazy.
Insane.
I feel like so Star Trek The Next Generation, wasn't it like 2053 or 2054 when we became interesting to aliens because we figured out how to travel faster than the speed of light, right? I feel like we might reach that point in our lifetime yet. Maybe we become
I think accidentally we'll discover something. Like we'll create a wormhole somewhere like, oh, we can actually jump between universes and stuff like that. Or universes. Now we're getting into more philosophical conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you get to warp drive, the Vulcans made the first.
That's what. Yeah. Yes. So I think it was like right around. If I remember, I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, but if I remember correctly, it's something like the 2050 era. So somewhere in that decade, if we figure it all out, then it'll be Star Trek in real life, right?
Do you think we're gonna get lots of Trekkies and Star Wars fans in the chat, and then we'll have the chasm between the two? And I wonder,
we might.
Can anyone be both? can I be a Trekkie and a Star Wars fan without really causing any
I've worked
issues?
with
'Cause
some
I love
that
both.
are both.
Okay, there
I've
you
worked with
go.
some, yeah. So
As long as you're a geek, right? How about
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Would the acceleration G forces make you a smoothie? Into a smoothie? Yeah, I don't know. 25,000 miles per hour. It's totally doable apparently, and the engines are designed to do that. And we are planning on sending a manned mission to the moon in 2024.
Yeah.
Plus, going further than the moon. I think we're going up to 1.2 million miles away from Earth, which is a scary proposition if you are the person doing
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. Could you do it? If somebody said, "Hey, would you want to," like if Bezos or Elon came to you and they said, "Hey, we want you to ride on this," would you do it?
Take my family with me? Like I wouldn't
What
do
if
alone.
what if they said no? You'd say no. I can't go.
Sorry, it was nice knowing you. I'm going to the moon. I don't know. I mean, they're talking about a moon base because that will become the stopping gap between here
Right.
and further exploration, which would be interesting. But it's
Correct.
too long. Like it would be too long of a period being away from family. I think it's gonna take 6 months to get to Mars, right? And
Something
then
I thought maybe it was longer, but yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I just didn't know if like that was something that was super interesting to you,
and then
you
is
know?
it gonna be like, hey, you're going to Mars to set up the colony, and then you might never come back?
Yeah, right?
So
Yeah.
there's so many unknowns there, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe my beard is all over the place, man. Sorry for my bad state of
Your
appearance
COVID
this morning.
beard? Your
Yeah,
COVID beard?
it's not a COVID beard. I had it before COVID.
But I
I
mean, are you trimming it the same way, or is it like just becoming COVID, be a COVID
obviously
beard?
you noticed that I trimmed it because it was much longer, like
It
2 weeks
was
ago.
longer. I'm giving you a
Despite
tough
the fact.
time.
Thank you. Uh, Doc995 says, so wrong. I don't know what's wrong. I always say, live
Oh,
long and
we're make
prosper on May the 4th. Ah, that's what.
yeah. May the fourth be with you. Live long and prosper.
True, Babylon 5. We left Babylon 5 out. I apologize to all our space friends out there, or
Space geeks. We
fanatics,
can call them
space
that.
geeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can call them space geeks.
space geeks out there. We apologize. I'm new to this. But anyway, my daughter really loved learning about these things, and then we wrote a
Nice.
fictional diary of someone
Was it
actually
your
going to
oldest
the moon.
daughter?
Yeah, she's 11.
Okay. Okay.
So she was
What, like fifth
quite,
grade?
yeah, she was quite
Okay.
excited about writing her fictional diary, which was good. But we had to add like facts, right? Like for the SLS. So we were reading up on all these things. I got fascinated again, like reignited my passion for space. And SpaceX is actually quite impressive in what they're doing. I love
I
Elon
agree.
Musk's thinking and being out there. And hopefully we'll see more engagement from NASA.
Yeah.
And they only get
Now,
like $20
do you
billion
want me to
a
try
year. Oh yeah,
do you want me
let's
to
try.
try the credential again? Let's see if this works. If it doesn't, I
See
can.
what happens. Well, we're
Yeah, so
tiny.
let's try creating it again.
Tiny people. I'm just gonna-
A
I
little bit
don't
more
like
time
that.
has
Let's
passed.
do that. I need to
No,
take the
it's not
QR
letting me
code
do it.
off
It's
eventually.
not letting me do it. So I almost feel like I might need to wait about an
An
hour
hour.
or
Yeah.
so. And Matthias, who's been in the chat, has said there's almost too much variety. It just depends upon the service. So just factor that in. If you are going to rip this out and
Reset.
start over, it might
Yeah.
take a little bit of time. But basically, our app will be up and functional later today. I will get all the credentials ready to go, and then we can post something to Twitter and just let folks know that our app is back up and functional.
That's a great thing. Like we need to find out whether the app is actually working.
I don't think it
Do
will.
do
Because
I
it'll.
have confidence in the deployment script? In other
Oh
words.
yeah, we should check that out. Oh yeah, look at that. It's just you won't be able to issue our Verifier credential because
Yes.
it's looking to the right key vault, but there's nothing there that will
Correct.
allow it to.
Yeah. So this would break if we were to. I mean, we can test it out. Obviously. Look at that. So funky.
That's
So
a
this
great
would
name.
break. Boom. So there's an error message behind the scenes.
Yep, exactly.
Check your app insights. We haven't set up app insights, so I should have
No.
done that.
But yeah,
Bad,
once
Chris.
this is up and functional, there will be a blog reader credential. There's going to be a YouTube watcher, et cetera, et cetera.
Correct.
And we'll have that up and functional. I was hopeful it would take more around the 10-minute mark, but it's looking like it'll be right around the hour-ish mark or so. And we've been playing around with this as well, because I do think people might do this. They might build it. They might not get buy-in from executive teams.
Yep.
And then fast forward 6 months, they might get buy-in again, but they want to change some stuff around. So I think swapping, it's going to always be a little bit of a, there's going to be a little bit of a variety in terms of the amount of time that you can bring those credentials back. But everything lives in the storage account, so I never got rid of those. I just have to redirect where the pointers are now that we've got a brand new DID number, and the DID number has been mapped to the key vault and mapped to the subscription, or well, the Azure Active Directory environment. And so I think, it's just a matter of time, and then you'll be able to create credentials like we had before I wiped it out of our Azure Active Directory instance.
Yes, deleting stuff. And I've just pasted the playlist for our for the decentralized identity. We will add this video as well there. You should get the links
Great.
to everything that we do. And that allows you to go from 0 to 100 and understanding what VCs are, how decentralized identity works and why you should be interested in that, and then building an app on top of it. So if you really want to still participate in the hackathon and you got 8 hours left, plenty of time to go and spin up an app.
Yeah, and
So
remember
Bruce Lane
that
says, for rules.json, there's a question somewhere there. Where do I find the client ID?
So let's see. So I believe that's in the organizational settings.
Sorry, let me share your screen.
It's
There you go.
I think it's the tenant identifier. I don't have Storage Explorer up, but I think it's the tenant identifier. If not, it's the client ID of the service principal, but I think it's the tenant identifier. That's what you mostly care about.
Mm-hmm. Which I think we also added to our files.
Yeah.
In the settings. Yeah.
We did. So yeah,
Cool.
so that's just kind of a good overview. And then, like I said, it's going to take a little bit of time before we can add these credentials back. I'll try it one more time. Maybe this is the.
Yes.
Right. Maybe
Okay.
this is the time.
Do you think like 2 minutes before we're up this stream, we're like,
That would
we
be
can do
funny,
now.
would it not? That would be also apropos to how everything goes, right? Okay, so this is the display file.
Uh-huh.
And then this is the rules file. Okay, fingers crossed. Let's see.
Can you imagine?
Nope, it didn't.
Ah.
So I am going to have to come back later today. So if you do go to the 425 show and you want to see how that works, wait a little bit. We'll post something on Twitter. We'll probably post it again on LinkedIn, just because I think folks are excited about how this process works. So look for that later today, and you can verify credentials and issue and verify, get a feel for how that works. I think both are important to understand, especially if you're bringing this service to your environment.
Indeed.
And I think, it's a really cool proposition, right? The idea that we're moving the way that everybody else is moving. Things are moving so fast. Everybody has centralized everything. We're moving so fast and so agile. Having decentralized identity is going to, in theory, be a major push here in the next probably 5 to 10 years. Rather than giving the OAuth rights for you to use your Gmail account for Spotify or Facebook for Spotify or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
This way, you just present that verifiable credential and you can use that on the consumer level. I think it's going to go. Well, I don't know. What remains to be seen, but I feel like the enterprise might adopt it a little faster. But I say it's going to come to the consumer space as well. It's just a matter of how fast, I suppose.
Indeed. It's interesting. Now that you've been involved with that, with the resource mover, if you decide to eventually adopt it, you don't have to start from scratch. You can do what we just did and help you set up your more permanent solution and start adopting it around your projects.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions, make sure to follow us on Discord. Hit us up on Twitter if you have any things that you can get.
Or LinkedIn. I think like Mr. D Bolt is not even on Twitter. He's only on LinkedIn.
How's that even possible?
I don't know. I made fun of him, and then he made fun of me back, and it was a great exchange. So, but I think there are people who tune in that aren't on Twitter, which is fine, right? So LinkedIn is another spot to find us.
Yeah, true. So without any further ado, I think what we want to do now is raid one of our friends that is currently streaming. And we will see you all on Thursday. We might get Matthias and Rohit to come back and maybe discuss a little bit about some of the more applicable use cases and how people can adopt it in different scenarios. We also have some questions ourselves and some questions that were generated as part of the hackathon.
Yeah.
like, how to sign in people with VCs and how to manage their state and what have you. So it will be an interesting topic. Otherwise, stay all safe. We got some interesting stuff happening in February as well. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Now let's
Sounds
find
good.
who we're going to raid, because I don't know who's live. There's nobody live that we actually follow.
It's Monday. Maybe the coffee
It is
hasn't
Monday,
kicked
you're
in
right.
yet. Maybe the coffee hasn't kicked in yet. It's also pretty early by you. It's only like 9 o'clock your time, right?
It is. Now that
Still kind of early.
So when I tried to raid from the 45 show, it says the Microsoft Developer channel is up, which is the other channel that we're streaming on. So let me see if I can new tab and then find somebody that we follow. There's a way to clone this tab. Yes, there is. Oh, I can't clone Twitch. That's interesting. Let's see. You see me struggling here. Why can I not? Okay, fine. Hardcore. Twitch.tv. And then let's find who's signed in or live right now. Maybe we don't follow them, that's why. It does say Visual Studio is live. And then it also says Lana is live. So do you guys want to see game development, or do you want to see... you want to stay with Microsoft and see some Visual Studio stuff?
Bruce says his org is set up, so...
Who?
High five. Bruce Lane.
Oh, okay.
Look at that, right
Cool.
at the end. All right, yeah. I don't even know. Nobody's typing that I can
Nobody's
see.
typing, so I'm going to take everybody to Visual Studio.
Woohoo!
Yeah, hey. Okay. Starting the raid now, and then...
We'll catch you all soon.
See you all soon, exactly.
It's a lot of clicks.
Still raiding, yeah. There's a lot of process here. Plus it takes 5 seconds to raid somewhere.
Oh, interesting. I don't think... At some point you're going to show me how to do that.
Will do. And then drop in the credits. Bye, everyone.
Bye!